Hey, Shalom Yashala. Kal halal yam la ya wa ba Hashem ya wa shai ba Hashem racha kodash. Shalom wa barak yam la wa char yam shal Yashala. Wa ha ak yam wa akwat yam wa ban yam. Shan yakabad gadwala rakab. Ha zakwan yam wa ha shalayak yam na wa shal Yashala ba'ait. Which is peace Israel. All praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, Yahweh, which is the name of the Most High, Yahweh Shai, which is the name Hashem, which is in the name of his son Yahweh Shai. Peace and blessings to the elect of Israel, to the men, or the brothers and the sisters and the children, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and of Israel in these times. And this here is number one from the Great Millstone Camp in Trinidad. And I will play this video right here.
Hey everybody, Christopher Green, AMTV Alternative Media Television. It appears that we are very, very close, stunningly close to an all-out war with Iran.
A carrier strike group has already passed through the Suez Canal, and B-52 bombers already landed at an airbase in the Persian Gulf.
There are new reports that the administration is reviewing military options, including a plan to send 120,000 U.S. troops to the region if Iran attacks U.S. interests.
We'll see what happens with Iran. If they do anything, it will be a very bad mistake.
I believe, in my humble opinion, is what people like John Bolton want. It's what they're calling for, and we could argue that these events have been pre-planned and engineered for a reason. And there's a startling tweet that just went out live from a very high aide of the Iranian government at real Donald Trump. You wanted a better deal with Iran? Looks like you're going to get a war instead. That's what happens when you listen to the mustache, referring to John Bolton. And now this. According to the mainstream media, Saudi Arabia says its oil pipeline was just attacked by drones.
Saudi Arabia's state-owned energy company Aramco has stopped pumping oil through a major pipeline after a drone attack.
This is out of Dubai, United Arab Emirates. An oil pipeline that runs across Saudi Arabia was hit by drones Tuesday, allegedly, west of its capital of Riyadh, the Saudi energy minister said. Shortly after rebels in Yemen claimed they carried out a coordinated drone strike against the kingdom. So Iran says that the U.S. perpetrated this event, that it wasn't them. They're saying there's a reason why they engineered this alleged attack on Saudi oil, a United States ally. So here's the question. Will Iran shut this pipeline down? Will they shut down the Strait of Hormuz, which accounts for some 50% of all oil trade in the world? They've threatened this before. Will this drag to a devastating war? Iran says Trump is playing a very, very dangerous game and risking a devastating war with the regime.
Several B-52 bombers have arrived at the U.S. airbase in Qatar, designed to counter what the Trump administration says are clear indications of threats from Iran to U.S. forces.
The question you need to ask is, will there be an accident? Okay, I think of the Gulf of Tonkin. I think of other events which pushed us into these egregious false wars because it was the agenda of the government of the time. So the question you need to ask is, what is the agenda of the neocon establishment, the mustache? What are they promoting and what do they want? We've seen this from four-star generals before. They've always told us that Iran is the final target.
But unfortunately, the United States has been escalating the situation unnecessarily. We do not seek escalation, but we have always defended ourselves.
So look, guys, I'm not telling you what to think. I'm asking that you ask real questions and you think critically through this media maze that's being put out to the American people and the global community right now. What I think? Well, I think you know what I think. I think we're at the edge of a cliff. I think we're at the precipice of a major disaster, a world war, and an economic collapse. I'm Christopher Green. Get this video out everywhere. Make it viral.
So you can clearly see what taking place there right now. And this was put up like, that video was reposted by Elia Shawanba. And like 2 hours ago on AMTV that was put up. So you can clearly see what taking place right there. And let me just get a precept. Not a precept yet. I'll get the scriptures just now. We find out what Iran was called before it was called Persia, before it was called Iran. So what was Iran called before? Persia. Iran was called Persia before the name was changed into Iran. Name of Iran. In the Western world, Persia, one of its cognates, was historically the common name for Iran. On the novels of 1935, Reza Shah Pahlavi asked foreign delegates to use the term Iran, the endonym of the country, in formal correspondence. Right? So you see Iran name was Persia. And what's this? What Iran resources. Bam. Says Iran is ranked as the second largest economy in the Middle East and North Africa in terms of GDP of about US $549 billion in 2012. Apart from oil and natural gas, the country's other natural resources include coal, chromium, copper, iron ore, lead, manganese, zinc, and sulfur. So that is the second largest economy in the Middle East. Oil exports include, what are Iran's main source of income? Oil exports include the value of crude oil, oil products, natural gas condensate, and liquids exported by NIOC, NIGC. Right, bam, bam, bam. So we see Iran is a rich country. Iran is not a poor country. Iran is not a poor country. Iran rich. You understand? Who are Iran's allies? Iran's allies. Well, we will get into that. So we see Iran rich. Iran have money. Right? So now, ultimately what Iran have is what the United States want. What Venezuela have is also what the United States want. That's why they want to come in Venezuela. That is why they want to go into Iran. Because they tell themselves they are the big bad wolf on the earth that could just go into any country they decide, do what they want, and you can't do them nothing, because hey, we have nuclear bombs and we have things that could flatten your country in a minute. So rest up yourself. You know that kind of way? That's how these devils thinking. Rest up yourself because we could freak you up. This is in the book of 2nd Maccabees. So we see that Iran was called Persia before. The book of 2nd Maccabees. Matter of fact, you know what? Now second. Now we'll get 1st Maccabees. 1st Maccabees. Chapter 6 and verse 1. So this is 1st Maccabees in the time of King Antiochus Epiphanes, the king of the Greek Empire, during the time of the Seleucid dynasty, after the death of Alexander the Great. This is Antiochus the 4th. So you had the 3rd, the 2nd, the 1st. And the first, before the 1st was Alexander the Great. Then the kingdom split it up into 4. Alexander gave the 4 generals a portion who grew up with him, as the scripture say. And Antiochus was the king of the Quello-Syria Empire, which was north of Jerusalem, right? And he gave Jerusalem and Israelites a lot of hell. So he was a so-called white man. And this is what his intentions was concerning Persia back then. So this First Maccabees 6 verse 1. About that time King Antiochus traveling through the high countries would say that Elymais in the country of Persia was a city greatly renowned for riches, silver, and gold. Elymais in the country of Persia, which is known as Iran today, was a city greatly renowned for riches, silver, and gold. And that there was in it a very rich temple, wherein were coverings of gold and breastplates and shields, which Alexander the son of Philip the Macedonian king, who reigned first among the Grecians, had left there. Wherefore he came and sought to take the city and to spoil it, but he was not able, because they of the city having had warning thereof, rose up against him in battle. So he fled and departed thence with great heaviness and returned to Babylon. Moreover, there came one who brought him tidings into Persia, that the armies which went against the land of Judea were put to flight. Yeah, because he sent some men. While he went there, he sent some men over in Israel to fuck them up. But Judah, Maccabees and them, Maccabees, can't remember the Hebrew word for it, but it means the hammer. He was a powerful warrior. They put them to flight around that same time. But what went on with Antiochus when he went, the Greek king, the Edomite king, when he tried to land foot into Persia, he was put to flight back then. And it's the same thing that will happen now. Not saying that it's the same kings were reincarnated. I just saying, when them fucking devils and them try to enter into Iran, that will be the end of the whole ordeal. It's going and fucking go all haywire and downhill from there. Because right now, who backs Iran are the Russians. The Russians are who back up Iran. Right? So this is Ezekiel 38th chapter and the first verse. It says, and the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him. Gog and Magog represents Russia today. I'll show you. Right, so I found the article here. This is what it's saying, right? It says, but how do so many Christians arrive at this idea? What is the primary basis for such idea? This view is rooted in the fact that Gog, the leader of Ezekiel's prophesied invasion, is from the land of Magog, which is most often claimed as a reference to Russia. If one Googles the terms Gog and Magog and numerous maps created by various prophecy ministries or teachers will pop up. I've included several below. Take note of where Magog is always located, either in Russia or the former Soviet Central Asia states. So you see Magog is. Which way Magog is? Rush. The brother, the camp leader, went into that, and Rush actually come from Russia. When the camp leader, I can't remember, if you watch this video, you gonna know what I'm talking about. Rush go back into Russia. Right? So Magog is around that area. So that is the Russians. Right? You see Magog around where Russia is. Magog around where Russia is. Magog is them. That is the most powerful nation right now because the Russians is a powerful nation. So let me go on in the Ezekiel, right? So the Mosai say he against, because the Mosai against them because they are Edomites at the end of the day. Right? But the Lord go and use them and other nations to destroy America. It says, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army. So the Mosai saying, they are going to make the Russians a powerful powerhouse once again. And that is what's going on right now. And all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Right? Persia, which is Iran, we just read that. The Iranians, the name was Persia before. Ethiopia and Libya with them. These Libyans were revenge as well. All of them with shield and helmet. Goma and all his bands, the house of Togama of the north quarters and all his bands, and many people with thee. These way it is here right now. Verse 7. It says, be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. A guard, in other words, a protection. So the Russians will protect the Iranians in war with the US, because we know the Russians and the United States are enemies. And if Satan be divided against himself, how shall his kingdom stand? But we know before this war happens that the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip, have to be made mandatory. We understand that. But this war going on happen. This war going on happen. Right? This war going on happen. This war in just going on fly by. It going on happen. And these Americans talking about going into Iran like it's a daily thing right now. They want to go into that country because they know it's oily. But anytime they try to spoil our country, just as Antiochus get booted out, they're going and get fucked up in this time again. And Israel, the United States welfare state, the land of Israel, the Israelis, and the Iranians always at it. That's why the scripture said the least of the flock shall draw them out. These Iranians is the least of the Edomite flock. Them is the basis, because them is the fucking Amalekites, the Khazars, the scum of the earth. The least of the flock shall draw them out. And with this Apocrypha, this Bible with the Apocrypha in it, they put the book of Enoch, the book of Joshua, and the book of the Jubilees in it too. Hey, these Edomites. Hey, all them books is what them interfere with. Them dig up in the book of Enoch, the book of Joshua, and the book of the Jubilees. But watch these devils and them so. But hey, they're going on lost. They're going on lost. This war, they're going on lost this war. This is not them war to win. Revelation chapter 20 verse, I read from verse 7. It says, and when the 1,000 years are expired, which goes back to when Rome fell to when Rome was reborn as the United States of America, that is that 1,000 years, because the ancient Roman Empire was ruled by Edomites, and Edomites came back into power roughly 1,000 years after they fell, which was in the Renaissance era, which was when Cristobal Colon and all of them come into power and sit down in the and Edomites started get power over the papacy, and they started rule the world again. Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, because them is the spiritual counterpart of them is the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan. Verse 8, and shall go out to deceive the nations. So as they came out, they started to lie. Iconoclasm, manifest destiny, slavery, 3/5 of a man, tell a nigga he's 3/5 of a man, that them white, that God white, that the angels white, everybody white, all of them set of shit, start a lie, start to call people Americans, and start to tell this man, hey, you's no longer Israelite, he's a Trinidadian, we are Chinese, and start to call everybody by names that the Bible never put on them. Lies, all of these things is lies, which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, because ultimately all them lies going to lead up to war. Gog and Magog to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. Hamagad one, mountain of troops, because this war going to take place, and it go, hey, the least of the flock will draw them out. These Edomites going to do something to draw the Americans out for this fight. These Amalekites. Read the scripture, will say that. Jeremiah 49. I believe it's verse 27. So, not 27, 20. It says, therefore hear the counsel of Yahweh that he had taken against Edom, and his purposes that he had purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. Because the land of Israel is going to be destroyed, and America is going to be destroyed. Kal halal yamla Yahweh ba'asham Yahushai ba'asham Ruach double honor to the apostles and elders, a great millstone. Hopefully you've been edified. Till you next time, I will say shalom to the elect.